Oh, hey. Good morning, YouTube family. Happy Thursday to you. Welcome to Happy Crappy Hour. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you might be. So glad to have you here. Looks like a couple of you already hopped on, so that's awesome. Let me see. Oh my goodness. Okay, some of this is already, I did not get to see these comments. Oh, yeah. Obi-Wan says, here we go, my weekly therapy. So glad that you guys are here. And I kind of feel like the same way you do, Obi-Wan, that this is like group therapy for all of us. It's really great to connect with people who've gone through the same kind of trauma, people who are a little more advanced or a bit behind you. It's really good because it creates this community where we help one another. And one of the most important things is to feel like you're not alone, right? That there are others that have gone through or are going through the same thing that you are. And that gives you hope because you're not alone. You're not there is hope for you to have healing. There's hope for you to move on when you see others that are a bit advanced. So glad to have you guys here. Good morning, Jihad. Good to see you. And Obi-Wan already here. Yeah, today's topic kind of came to me this morning. I was going to do something entirely different, but I came across this question this morning. And the question was, what is grade A supply to a narcissist? So it got me wondering, do I really care what grade A supply is to a narcissist? Once you get to a certain point of healing, you just don't care anymore. You don't care what your ex narcissist or narcissistic ex is doing and who their supply is and, anything that's happening in their life. It's just so detached from you that you don't need to know. You're not pining for them anymore. You're not feeling any more pain when you think of them. So you just don't really care. So I want to tell you guys there is that hope. I had read some comments about where people were talking about, after narcissistic abuse, you're just never the same again. And there's a part of you that's missing, and there's always going to be this hole inside of you that they left behind or they took because they left because they took something from you. But you know what? Coming through quite a lot of the narcissistic abuse and today in my life, I want to tell you, once you do the work to heal the inner wounds that you had that led you into the abuse in the beginning, or that led you to stay in the abuse or even enable the abuse. Once you do that healing, that inner work, and it truly gets addressed, you just don't feel the pain anymore. You really do feel like you're now on a firm foundation. It's not like you're a lesser person at all. It's as if you started off with injuries and wounding from either parents or siblings or uh, other kids from school. Who knows? A teacher said something to you that was discouraging. There are things that happen to you throughout your life that cause all kinds of wounding. And then the narcissist comes into your life, or maybe was there from the beginning and continues to widen that wound, right? Take advantage of that wound. And when they're gone, you feel demolished. But if you go, because the narcissist does such a complete job of demolishing you, you find that you have to find healing. You find that you have to move forward, because if you don't, you're going to just crumble and disappear. So when you start to do the work, when you start to barely crawl away from the narcissist, at that point, of course, you don't feel like you're ever going to be whole. You're never going to heal completely. And the bit of healing you did accomplish along the way is now completely gone, right? The bridges that you built or the structures that you built to protect yourself or help yourself get stronger, is totally demolished by the narcissist. So you think there's just no way I can even get back to those structures. But you know what? Those structures were not built on a firm foundation. That's what I'm realizing. Those structures were not built on a firm foundation. And so it's good that those structures are now gone, because now you get to really build a truly firm foundation where your self esteem, your confidence, your strength is going to be unshakable. It's really, you're going to be better off than you've ever thought you could be. So I just want to give you guys that hope to start with. Yeah. Let me see here, you guys. Yeah, Steve, good to see you. Says, glad to be part of the chat. Was it a 2-year relationship with a guy who was mildly narcissistic, but it was still traumatic, especially the discard when he met a new high octane fuel supply? Yeah. Obi says, I just don't care anymore. And now that I've mastered this art of spotting these losers, but when called out, they quit. Yes. So, yeah, you know, a 2-year relationship is not a short time. You would be so surprised, the stories I have heard, the people I've talked with who've had even just a few weeks with a narcissist, and how madly in love they fall within just a couple of weeks. Some of them fell in love almost immediately within a few days. It's just incredible, you know. But yeah, the shortest ones I remember were where it led into maybe a couple of months long relationship were the ones that fell within a week or two. And it just demolished them. The narcissist, like I said, goes in with their bulldozer and crushes and strikes down any structure that you have built up to that point that kept you going and kept these people going, right? And once the narcissist takes takes their toll, does their damage, and walks away, these people are left, you know, with, if you can imagine the documentaries on World War II or any war where there's just destruction left behind, right? And people are just scouring through the rubble, picking through the rubble to see if there's anything that they can salvage. And that's how a lot of us feel. So that kind of leads me to today's topic, though, because, you know, on the one hand, you're thinking, well, why should we care what grade A supply is to a narcissist? What I'm realizing is a lot of us, as we come out of the destruction, that's one of the questions we ask, because we look towards the narcissist and we're wondering how their life is going. And those of you who are watching the narcissist, and I do not recommend that. Excuse me, you guys, I had to clear my throat a little bit. But yeah, those of you who are watching, you should not be watching. But I know even if we are not watching, we wonder what's going on with the narcissist. Are they happy? Is the new supply making them happy? Is the new supply deliriously happy with the narcissist, you know, in the position that I should be, where I should be reaping all the benefits after going through all the trauma, all the benefits that the new supply is receiving? And why this new supply? Why did they choose this person? So I think, though, people tend to get stuck there. And that's why it's really important to examine this question and answer this question. Because I think in answering that question, it's going to enlighten you. It's going to wake you up to what the new supply really is to the narcissist. And not just a new supply, all supply, right? Also, what is grade A supply to the narcissist? Because maybe at one point you were a grade A supply. So what happened? How did that fall apart? How did you not become or keep that status anymore? And the biggest thing that we'll come to the end of that. You know, once we answer that question, I have some other things I wanted to talk to you about. But first, let's do Happy Crappy Hour. Why is this Happy Crappy Hour? It's because we're going to talk about the happies that happened this week and the crappies that happened, and how we get stronger from the crappies and try not to do those again, or what we learned from them, and what good things were happening this week that made us stronger, the good choices we made, and we want to keep making those choices. Um, oh, Megan says, thank you for restating that my foundation was not solid at the start of my ex relationship. Lately, I've been beating myself up for getting stuck for 10 years. Yes. Yeah, Obi says they even fall in love within hours. Yeah, because the narcissists, they just cut straight to your heart. They cut straight to the deep needs and wants that you have. You know, they awaken the passion or the desire inside of you, and you think you're making this connection with them when what's going on is inside of your body. The your hormones are waking up and causing you to connect to this person, and it's a false connection. So I just wanted to say that. um yeah. So let me talk about some of the, sorry, I was just going through some of the comments here. Yeah. Steve says that I'm beginning to think they are both narcissists, as within a few days they were talking about meeting their soulmates. Exactly. And, you know, narcissists tend to wake this up inside of people. So, it's possible that the supply is not a narcissist, but the narcissist has made them feel like, I'm your twin flame. And I've heard that term thrown around as well. Your soulmate. We'll always have a part of each other. They believe a lot in this. We must have known each other in past lives, and they'll introduce those ideas because they want to take the connection with their supply to the highest level that supply has ever had. And that's what fools the supply into thinking this must be true love, because I never felt this close with anybody else, or no one has ever said these things to me. Was willing to commit so quickly, was willing to be, uh, even if it was fake from the narcissist, vulnerable, right, with them. So they'll, the new supply or the supply, you may have fallen for their tactics of connecting as quickly and as deeply as possible. And that fools you into thinking this must be my soulmate because I've never felt this way or fallen this quickly. So, you guys, okay, let me tell you about my happies and crappies real quick. You guys are welcome to jump in with yours as well. My happy, I guess, would be, well, there's several happies, but last night I made it to yoga. So, yay! I was trying to, if you guys have been with me for a few weeks now, I started doing yoga, but we went on vacation for a couple of weeks, and I wasn't able to do yoga. So that was kind of a boo. So yesterday we made it to yoga and it was great. I feel so much better. I felt much bouncier, just, more energetic. Everything's flowing great. But my crappy is that I think I messed up my wrist. Yeah, on my trip, I think I messed up my wrist surfing. Yeah. So I did notice it at the time, and it's just getting more and more sore. And now I'm like, uh-oh, I think something's wrong inside of my wrist. And so doing yoga when your wrist is already somewhat injured is not a good idea, because this morning it feels worse than it's felt the entire time. So that's my crappy. My crappy is that I knew better, but I did not take the precaution, take the warning that my body was telling me, that my mind was telling me. And that's a lesson to me that, and to all of us, that our body speaks to us. Our body will let us know when we're in danger. Our body lets us know, like, don't push it beyond this. And we want to push beyond. And sometimes that's okay. But when it's things like possible fractured bones, don't push beyond, that's just not a good idea. So I should have just taken it easy on that wrist. But anyway, lesson learned. I'm going to move forward from there. Another happy and crappy that I had this week was I wanted to make a special mention about my husband because he is so totally my hero. My crappy was that we were snorkeling. Well, that's a great thing, right? Snorkeling. I love snorkeling. And I had my phone on this tether, a string, lanyard thing. and taking pictures and whatnot. And then I had to take off my snorkel in order to hand my phone over to my husband so that he could take some pictures. And when I did that, I took off my snorkel and mask and I dropped it. I didn't realize even when I dropped it because I looked around and I thought, wait, where's my snorkel? Where are my snorkel and mask? And my husband's right next to me. So I said, oh my gosh, honey, I think I dropped my snorkel and mask. And he looks down, he goes, yep, there it is at the bottom of the ocean. Luckily we were snorkeling, so it wasn't that deep. It might have been about, I want to say 12, 15 feet deep where we were. But I tried to dive down, and let me tell you, my ears were hurting and the pressure, I could not go down very deep. So he dove down, and I thought it would take him a couple of tries at least, but nope, popped right up with my snorkel and mask. Then to think that I would have learned, right? But let me tell you, my phone was on that tether and the tether broke. It wasn't even that I dropped my phone, but suddenly I saw my phone start drifting away from me. And if you can imagine like a feather or a leaf, how it kind of swings back and forth as it goes down, that was what my phone was doing right in front of my eyes. And I kept reaching and reaching for it. And every time I reached for it, I think it kind of pushed a wave, pushed a current past the phone so it would go farther from me. Oh my gosh, panic started setting in inside of my chest when I realized by the third time I was trying to grasp my phone that every time I put my hand out to try to grab it, it just went farther away. It would swing up farther away. I was like, oh no, oh no. And then I started losing breath, of course. So I had to come up, came back up. There was my husband, because as you know, when you go snorkeling or scuba diving or swimming at all, you should always have a buddy. So always two of you. So he's right there. And I said, I dropped my phone. And he didn't get mad. He's like, okay. So he just dove right in and popped back up, and he had it. He had it in his hand. So I was just like, oh my gosh, this guy is my hero. Saved me twice in one trip. So just a bit of a shout out for him. It was a bit of a crappy because, as you know, when you see something about terrible that's about to happen and you can't stop it from happening, you feel powerless, and you are powerless to stop it from happening. It just feels so bad. So I went through that, but we both recovered really quickly. He never got mad about what happened. He was just happy that he was able to get it for me. So it ended up on a good note. Just wanted to share that with you guys. My hero who came and rescued my mask and snorkel and my phone. Well, you guys, let me get on to the topic for today. Let me see here. Megan says her crappy is that she's beating herself up over her part of the ex-narc relationship. Yeah, and her happy is that she's really opening up emotionally in her women's support group. That's fantastic. And be careful though, because even in support groups, there are people, yeah, don't be too devastated, actually. Just be prepared that not everybody might be supportive and helpful. You may have a jealous person because people are wounded who are in support groups, right? Obviously. And their wounding may affect their ability to be a really good friend or really healthy support to you. But it is really nice to go through things together and open up. It's great to make these connections. And in these support groups, a lot of times you do make super close connections with one or two people. And that is a huge gift and a huge blessing to your life. So I'm so glad for you, Megan, that you're getting into that support group. And let me see here. Well, you guys, let me go into this topic. And in the end, if you want, I will try to recap the points that we made today. So I'm going, you know what? Let me tell you what. So I'm a member of Quora, Quora. And I have an app on my phone. So now and again, a question pops up and not very often, but every now and again, I'll check out the question and see what answers people had. So I'm going to read to you guys actually some of this answer here, which I thought was excellent, excellent answer to the question, what is grade A narcissistic supply? And this person compared grade A narcissistic supply to a magical mirror. So here we go. Let me see what this person said. Okay. The magical mirror is oh so great. You see, the magical mirror does not only number one, praise you, love you, shows you how in awe it is with you, goes out of its way for you, almost like a real person, basically reminds you how lovable and special and important you are. So the magic mirror is there to just, love bomb essentially the narcissist, right? Just praising them constantly. But number two, the magical mirror reflects all of its good qualities and things that the mirror, let me see how the person didn't write it in the best grammatical way. So let me see how I can say this right. It reflects all of its own qualities onto the narcissist. So if you are beautiful and intelligent, which are two of the most sought after traits by narcissists, you aren't only telling them how beautiful and intelligent they are, but by being with you, somehow these great traits of yours are being reflected onto him or her. Does the narcissist want to seem adventurous? Are you adventurous? Great. Now they'll stick to you like gum on your shoe. So whatever it is that the narcissist wishes they were, when they see it in another person, they want to be around that person, because now when they're around that person, if that person is fearless, if the narcissist is very fearful, but they get to be around someone who's fearless, then suddenly they look fearless. Suddenly they get the reputation too, just by being with you, right? And kind of following you around, they'll get the reputation of being just like you. So this person also wrote, important. The shinier the mirror, the more flashy or impressive in one way or the other, the better. High status in the narcissist society or in his city or circle of friends is of utmost importance. This area includes any personality, character, or trait they admire. If they think they have it themselves, good. But if they feel hold on, you guys, the way it's written, like I said, but if they feel that this is not one of their strong points, well, they'll admire the magical mirror all that much more. Yep. So number 3 is that the magical mirror has to have the right personality traits or character to make life a field of daisies for the narcissist. What does that mean? It means that the temperament or patience or forgiveness, they have the temperament, patience, or forgiveness of a saint. So the narcissist can be loving and Prince Charming as long as they're getting the above needs met by someone who they consider high value. But as soon as their supply slips up, as soon as the narcissist slips up and the supply confronts the narcissist, like brings it to their attention, even in the loveliest way, even in the kindest way, the narcissist will not want anything more to do with the supply because they'll feel attacked. So the temperament of the supply, grade A supply, has to be complete forgiveness and allowance at all times. One of the things that narcissists love to believe, and I know this is true out there for just about everybody, you want someone to love you for who you are, right? You want someone to love you as you are. But here's the deal. Narcissists don't understand that as they are needs to be a continuing growing or yeah, they need to be continually growing as a person, continually building character, continually healing so that they don't wound the people they love. So, but the narcissist wants the supply or the magical mirror to accept them just as they are, completely broken and not willing to change. And if the narcissist, will make up excuses too, well, this is just the way I am. So I don't need to change. I'm never going to change because I am wired this way. And so they believe that if they're wired this way, then whoever they're with should just accept them as they are, as abusive as they are, as triggered as they are, as messed up as they are. They don't see the need to change because they believe this is who they are and people should just love them as they are. And that's crap. I'm sorry, you guys, but it is. It is total crap. And even people who are not narcissists who believe this, love me as I am, even if I'm abusive to you, is crap. No, because nobody deserves that. I mean, if you turn the tables on the narcissist and say, well, then do you love it when somebody is abusive towards you and they're triggered? And so they should be able to explode on you because that's the way they are. So you should just love them the way they are. It's not going to float. It's not going to get past the narcissist. They're not going to agree to that. But they want that from their grade A supply. And for a while, grade A supply will provide this for them. The grade A supply will allow the narcissist to be extremely abusive, as we all have, right? We've allowed the narcissist to be abusive because we're clinging to that romantic, idealistic picture we had of the narcissist at the beginning. And we hope that we can get back to that picture. And in the meantime, you're getting abused, we're getting abused, we're being demeaned, we're being, we're we're being cheated on, we're being lied to, we're being robbed, and we keep giving the narcissist more and more, I don't know, more and more chances. We just keep forgiving. And while we're forgiving, and as long as we continue to forgive and not hold the narcissist accountable to anything that they do, loving them as they are, right? Then we're grade A supply to them. And here's the deal though, to be a grade A supply like that would require you to be passive and submissive, even if you are a very strong person, because they, narcissists do like that. And I like the way this person put it. I'm going to read it the way they put it. The grade A supply has to be passive and submissive. They said, and I agree with this too, I don't agree that grade A supply has to be weak specifically. In fact, I think the narcissist likes strength because it is a positive trait. And any positive trait that they want for themselves, they want their supply to have. I think they like the strength, independence, confidence, and positivity of the grade A supply. But they still want this incredibly strong, intelligent, independent woman or man to be in awe of them, to the point where this supply, even though they're strong and confident and intelligent, successful, they want this supply to worship them, right? They want this supply to put the narcissist on a pedestal and worship them, right? And if you're worshiping the narcissist, then you're going to be submissive and passive to when they are abusive, to when they are horrible to you, right? And they will take advantage of that because they don't see why they have to be accountable to their actions. They should be able to get away with whatever they do because you're supposed to love them as they are and accept them as they are wired. So grade A supply is supposed to be intelligent and strong and successful, and yet worshiping them, right? Submitting to the narcissist. Yeah, let me see what else he wrote here. Yeah, because if the grade A supply is not passive and submissive to the narcissist will take it as an attack or an offense that the supply is not allowing them to be themselves, right? Um, yeah, and not accepting them. So it says here a lot of people often confuse malignant narcissism with, which is a specific type, with just narcissism. So it is often said that narcs don't feel that others are superior to them or even equal to them, but that's not all narcissists. They do feel that others might be superior to them, and when they do, they'll treat that person right and try to win their favor. And I totally agree with that. I've said it in other videos before that, they that's what they like. Those are the people they like to surround themselves with and to go after, are people that they admire, but they want those people to admire them back. Now, if those people don't admire them back, then they will have nothing to do with them. Forget it. They can't just appreciate and admire somebody for that person's abilities or who they are or what their character is. They have to also be admired back by that person. So here we go. This is the biggest thing I think that comes out of so those were the 3 points that they made, and I thought these were really, really great points of grade A supply, which is, again, let me say it, let me recap for you guys really quickly. First thing that a grade A supply to them is, as a magical mirror, is that they praise, love, and are in awe of the narcissist. They'll just swoon over everything the narcissist does and how they look and just worship them. Number 2 was that the mirror would reflect all of the mirror's own good qualities onto the narcissist so that the narcissist can partake of those qualities and take ownership of your qualities for themselves, right? If you're adventurous, then suddenly they're adventurous because they're following you around onto all of your adventures. If you're talented in some way, then they also will insist on reaping the benefits of your talent, right? Any attention that you get, they want that attention too. So they want to be right on your arm or right next to you. But they don't want to be second fiddle to you. They want to be the reason that you're successful, or the reason that your talent is so well noticed is because of them, right? So they want to be able to partake of the great qualities that the magical mirror has. Number 3 was that the magical mirror has to have the right personality traits so that the magical mirror can allow the narcissist to live any way that they want with no boundaries, and to behave as badly as they want, and to go on every whim, go along with any whim that the narcissist has, and never hold them accountable to any of it or have them take any responsibility for their own actions. And especially, the narcissist does not want the mirror to make them reap any of the consequences, right, of their errors, of their mistakes. So I just thought that was really good. And I wanted to share that with you guys because so many times we look at the new supply and we think, what is it that that person has that I don't have? And the number one thing is they're not calling the narcissist out on their crap, right? Number 2 is they have to be completely submissive to the narcissist. And if you don't want to be completely submissive to the narcissist, then you should be glad that you're not there with the narcissist anymore, because that's what the new supply has to be. Charlotte, good to see you here. So you guys, yeah. Oh, Toby says he's driving. So yeah, if you're pining away and you're wishing that you could get back into the narcissist's life, and you're jealous of the new supply and you're wishing you were in the new supply shoes, just be aware that this is what the narcissist looks for. And sometimes, though, the narcissist, the new supply does not meet all of these requirements, but is the next thing that's available to the narcissist. So they'll grab and snatch up that new supply so that they'll have company, so that they won't be alone. And it doesn't even matter if the new supply is better than you or worse than you. I mean, you can compare yourself to the new supply all you want. It is not going to be helpful to you. I mean, you might feel like, oh, they're worse than me, so you feel a little better, but it just doesn't matter in the long term, in the long run, because what matters in your life right now is that you are free from the narcissist. And here's the deal. A lot of times people will ask, well, what is grade A supply? Because they want to form themselves and bring themselves back into that position where they can be supplied to the narcissist again. They want to call the narcissist and say the right things to them and try to lure them back, right, away from the new supply. But that's why they're out looking for these answers. What could make me grade A supply? That's what I want to be. But when you're faced with the reality of what grade A supply really is, that they have to be simply a mirror for the narcissist, you realize, wait a minute, that's not what I want to be. I don't want to be just a mirror to somebody. I want to have a fulfilling life. I want to do the things that are important to me as well. So why would you, right? Why would you want to be grade A supply to a narcissist? And the thing is, in the end, nobody is ever continually good grade A supply to the narcissist, except for one person. And this occurred to me this morning as well when I was thinking about the narcissists that I know in my life. The ones are that the narcissist will talk about and praise and idealize are the ones that are no longer a part of the narcissist's life or are dead. That's it. The ones who have cut the narcissist off completely, and the narcissist regrets letting that supply go, right? They know that supply is still doing well and they want that supply back. They'll talk about that supply as if it was some badge of honor that supply was with them, or they were able to capture that supply for even whatever time period they did have with the supply. But they also talk about dead supply as if that was the best supply they ever had, the most loving, most caring. They idealize that person. Suddenly their marriage was the best partnership they've ever had in their life. And they'll talk to their new wife or new husband as if, why can't you be like my dead spouse? And it's like, what the heck, At the beginning, you were telling me before your spouse passed away what a horrible person they were and how badly they treated you, and all the lies, of course, the narcissist tells about their ex, so that the new supply or new spouse will believe them and feel sorry for them. But then suddenly, now that their ex is idealized by them, so you'll only ever be truly grade A supply to them once you're gone, once you've been discarded, once you are no longer a part of their life. Then they will look back and romanticize what they had with you. And if you ever let them back into your life, they will treat you exactly the way they always did. And not only that, they will treat you worse because they know that you are so into them or so connected to them or so submissive to them that you're willing to come back and allow them to do this again to you. So do you really care or want to be grade A supply to the narcissist? My hope for you, and my hope that what your answer would be, is no, you don't want to be grade A supply to the narcissist. Okay, this person also wrote, let me see here, says that, they answered this question and they said, if you are grade A supply, Don't use this to romanticize your situation. So if you're a nice and good behaved grade A supply, the narcissist will want to keep you around for as long as they can. But whatever type of supply you are, never confuse the title and think it's you who is the utmost quality supply. It's not you. Whether good or bad, it's never you. It's what you bring to the table. And you could be an oh, I like how they use this. You can be an Olive Garden in an area full of McDonald's. But once a more classy restaurant comes into the neighborhood, they'll be quick to forget their favoritism and so called love towards you. They'll still keep you around if you let them, though. Which is why, if you find yourself involved with a person like this, you need to leave, no matter if you know you're a grade A supply. So, yeah, don't romanticize it. They don't love you. They love how you make them feel and how you make them look. They love their own interest, and they could have you meet their family. They could tell you you're their soulmate, but still cheat on you because it isn't love for you. It's selfish and it's love for themselves. So this is what I have seen too with narcissists is that they'll go on and say how much they love someone, and yet they will have no problems whatsoever uh, going with their temptations for another person. So you're like, well, if you love this, they don't understand love for a person. They only understand love for what that person can do for them or how that person makes them feel. And if another person can make them feel excited or feel attractive or feel wanted, they will go towards that other person, even though they'll still say, but I still love my current girlfriend or boyfriend or wife or husband, my current partner. But this other person brings excitement to me, makes me all excited. So now I love that person, but I love them both. They do not understand that they don't actually love either of the people. They only love what each person brings to the table, what each person does for them. So if the person makes life exciting for them, they will feel as if they're in love with that person, but they're not in love. They're just infatuated. And I think narcissists often confuse infatuation with love because they don't truly love anybody. They only get wrapped up in a fantasy world, an idealistically made up romantic, story that their supply plays a character in the story, right? So long as that supply reads reads the script and follows the script that the narcissist wants, then the love story, if you will, can continue. but as soon as the supply breaks from the script, has a mind of their own, has needs or wants of their own, then this is no longer a love story for the narcissist. So it never ever was love. It was simply a story that they were acting out. They wanted to have as part of their life. And so they collect these characters in their life to play out the stories that make the narcissist feel good, right, about themselves, or idealizes the narcissist and brings them attention or favor from others. So that, you guys, is what happens when narcissists are looking for grade A supply. This is the type of people that they will attach themselves to strong people. And here's the thing, when I started the beginning of this happy crappy hour, we were talking about how after leaving a narcissist, you might feel completely demolished and you might feel like, oh, I'll never be whole again, or I'll never be strong again. There's always going to be a part of me that's missing. I'll always be incomplete. But that's not true, because what I wanted to tell you from the beginning is, what buildings you had created at the beginning, what structures you had built in your life to lead to success, even to lead to somewhat some stability in your life. It could have even been, that you built up your talent and you're incredibly talented because you poured all this energy into training, into building up your talent. And then the narcissist comes and depletes you, and you feel and had put you down so much that you felt like you're not very talented, you're not as good as you thought you were, or others had told you you were. And now you feel like you're empty and you're never going to go back to that level of talent or level of confidence again. But it's not true, because even the talent and the confidence you had at the beginning before you met the narcissist was not built on the strongest foundation. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times I think we we think that you have to start off on a strong foundation from the beginning of your life in order to build an extremely great and amazing life. But that's not true. I think so many times in life we are knocked down over and over again. But what happens each time that we get knocked down is that we find the flaw in the foundation that caused us to crumble. Okay, you guys, there are other things going on or are missing in your foundation that caused you to stumble, caused you to fail. And that's not a bad thing, because once you fail, once you stumble, once the structure crumbles, right, and comes down to the ground, and you have to rebuild, don't just rebuild from the same foundation. Dig deeper and find out what caused it. And that's what the narcissist does for us. Having been through abuse with a narcissist, we will feel like there's nothing left. We will feel like, where do I start now? How am I supposed to be as strong as I used to be? You're not going to be as strong as you used to be. You're going to be stronger. You're going to be so much more stable, and because you're going to go back and you're going to do the inside work. You're going to do the very, very hard, deep work of finding out what wound you had that you covered over quickly, that you maybe even ignored in order to build the life you had before the narcissist came in, right? So even if you had what looked like a really good life, you were still susceptible because you had wounding that was deeper in your foundation that you just covered over. You never went in there to take care of it. I kind of look at it like a cavity. When you have a cavity in your root of your tooth, you can brush all you want on the outside. You can build up your enamel all you want on the outside. But if that cavity was in your root, and you're doing everything right, and you're flossing and you're cleaning and you're eating the right things to build that enamel on the top part of your tooth, that tooth is still going to rot because there was that cavity that was deep underneath the gum. So what happens is, with a narcissist, is even though you've built this beautiful shiny life that looks great, and that's what attracted the narcissist to you, by the way, because you were strong, you were smart, you were successful, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you had lots of friends, you're popular, you're doing great in life, you look mature, you're not in all these unstable relationships. It seems like you're in one, you've got your act together, right? And that attracts the narcissist to you because they want that. Remember, because part 2 of the magical mirror was that you're going to reflect all your positive traits onto the narcissist. So as long as you have these traits and the narcissist can hang around you, they're going to look like they must have these traits too. They must be as stable as you are. They must be as smart as you are. And, when you see, when you have a beautiful or handsome person on your arm, you kind of look a little more attractive to other people too. So the narcissist loves that. They're going to attach to you because you did such a great job building above the surface, your life above the surface, and it looks amazing to them. And it looks amazing to you too. And you think, look at me, I'm doing great, And the thing, though, is that there was some wounding that was underneath the surface in the foundation that you had built your life on. And that's why we get attached to the narcissist. There was probably some part of us that longed to hear that we're somebody's soulmate, or, the things that the narcissists are able to say or do to make us feel so special, make us feel seen. Even though you feel like you're seen, you're successful, and people who look at you think that you're doing really well, there might have been a part of you that felt lonely, that felt like nobody really knows the deeper side of me. Because if people knew who I really was or how insecure I really am, they wouldn't like me. And then the narcissist swoops in, and somehow they, you know, they hone in on that wounded part of you. And not that they even know it's there, because what they do is they cast a fishing net. They don't just cast one line at a time from a fishing pole. They will cast a net, and they'll say the same things. They'll say the things that people who feel lonely need to hear. They'll say the things that people who feel incomplete or feel like um, they're fake. And I don't want to say they really feel fake or anything, but they kind of feel insecure, I think is the better word. That if other people knew exactly how I feel or what I think of myself, or what I who mistakes I've made in the past, they wouldn't like me. But in the meantime, you can build this veneer of a life and look incredible on the outside. But the narcissist will say the things that will speak to those who are wounded in that area, in that particular area that you were wounded. And that's why, after the devastation of a narcissist, after they come through your life with, flattening everything that you had built up, um, that's why we all stop and we have to think, how did this happen? How did I stay so long? How was the narcissist able to get so deep into my life? And you know, how did they reach me in such a place where no other person had been able to reach me? And once you start looking at that, you'll start seeing where it is. What is it in your life that the narcissist spoke to, right? What is it that the narcissist was able to address? Even though they don't even realize this is what they're addressing in you. They're just throwing out a net, right? They're just throwing it out and casting it with all these lines, with all these words, and whoever gets caught, that's who they bring in, right? And you get caught in their net of lies and of flattery and of attention. And you once you realize, oh, that's what I was lacking. I was lacking this type of attention. I was lacking the deep one-on-one times of connection. So what you do with that is that you bring that into a healthy relationship where someone's not just tossing it out to catch someone. That's just who, you get to know people in a deeper way. And I think that's really what has happened for me as well in the last few years, is that the relationships I get in so much deeper with people. I have a much better connection with them than I had 10 years ago. I'm able to do the things to feed the areas in my life that needed to be fed, like the deeper connections, the better friendships, the kind of things that your soul just desires and is seeking. I'm able to fulfill those now with the people who are quality people in my life. And that is an amazing thing. You guys, I just realized, there we go, that there are some comments here. I want to see what you guys are saying. Sorry, guys, just going down a bit. Oh, Water Grove, good to see you. Roro B, good to see you. Oh, where are we here? Monarch Rose says triple A supply. I tried to explain this in many of my comments. Okay, sorry you guys, I must have missed quite a few comments here. So let me. Obi-Wan says I was a narcissistic empath, if that makes any sense. Not quite sure, Obi. You have to explain that. Megan says, true, been no contact 7 months since the day I left the house and was divorced. My ex replaced me with supply. Wow. Prior to the divorce with his adult son by living at his apartment. Then I assume son moved into ex's house. Grade A supply. I'm not quite sure I understood that. Oh, I see. So his son became his new supply. Yeah, I get it. Because supply doesn't always have to be romantic. It just has to be somebody who's going to make the narcissist feel great about themselves, right? Obi-Wan says, Megan, I've had a brain injury and too stupid to know, no contact. Yeah, that's the thing. It's so hard to go no contact, but that's the best thing that we can do for ourselves is no contact. And people 8 months out, I read comments about this too, where someone who was 8 months out from their discard still was feeling traumatized, and they didn't understand why or am I still feeling this way. And I'm telling you, 8 months is not that long out, actually, from what I'm noticing. People will go years, and that was shocking to me with the narcissistic abuse. It was shocking to me to hear people 5 years out from the trauma and still traumatized by it. So I want to make sure you guys don't take 5 years to get to that point. But give yourself the time to do the research, to read the questions, and the answers in the comments, and watch these videos. They educate yourself for about what kind of people these narcissists are. And once we educate ourselves, the puzzle starts to make sense. It starts to come together, and we're like, whoa, that's what was happening in my crazy town, right? It made no sense at the time. But now you see what turmoil and hurricane disaster zone you were in, and you were trying to make it calm, and you were trying to make it normal and sensible. There is no sense to be made out of Crazytown. There just isn't. But you can understand it. You can say, wow, okay, that was a total disaster zone, and I was trying to make it as safe as a kindergarten classroom. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. But once you're able to see what you were dealing with and the situation you were in and the person the narcissist is, once you realize what kind of character they have, you're going to be able to start healing so much faster. You're going to be able to actually start laughing. And I love that, Obi-Wan. I saw that at the beginning that you said, all you do now is laugh, because it's true. You cannot help but laugh at the craziness that these narcissists have, right, in their life. It's just amazing and shocking how much crazy they bring into their own world and into your world. And it's laughable. It's not solvable. Here's the deal. Okay, you have to accept, like, this person is not going to change. You cannot solve the narcissist problems. You cannot get them to see. But once you realize that, and you realize, oh, I can stop fighting. I can stop trying to push logic into this conversation with the narcissist. And when you stop fighting that uphill battle, swimming against the stream, you will, or against the current, right? You will be able to rescue yourself. You will be able to see the situation for what it is. Oh my gosh, I'm going to give you guys this example. I don't know if you know what a riptide is, but I had seen news stories of people who were carried out by a riptide. What happens is, if you can imagine a shoreline, so imagine this couch in front of you as a shoreline, And the riptide is like this blanket that's on the couch right now, right? It goes perpendicular-ish to the shoreline. And say you're swimming across the shore, parallel to the shore along the couch here. And you get caught into that stream where that blanket is, right? And that stream will take you out and out and out. It flows sort of like from the top to the bottom, and it pulls you out, pulls you into the ocean. And some people, when they start getting pulled out, will start swimming towards the shoreline. So they're swimming against the riptide. So this riptide keeps going out into the ocean. People are trying to swim towards the shore, but they're being pulled out into the ocean. They will get so tired and then die of exhaustion and drowning, right? They'll just get too exhausted to swim anymore because they can't keep swimming against this tide that keeps going. So then they'll drown. They get pulled out into the ocean and then they drown. But instead of swimming directly towards the shore and against the riptide, they should have continued to go left or right, parallel to the shore, until they were clear of the riptide. So back to the white side of the couch. And you can imagine swimming that way to the right until you're to the right of the cup there, and you're into, you're back on into the water that's not pulling you out into the ocean anymore. Now you can swim towards the shore. And there's no riptide there to be pulling you back out. You're going to be able to swim back in towards the shore. And it's sort of like that with narcissists, where you're living in this riptide section of the beach, right? And you're swimming against it and swimming against it. And you're thinking, I just need to get to the shore. I got to get to the shore. And it's logical to think, if I can get to the shore, I'll be saved and I won't drown. I just need to get to the shore. But you think using logic with a narcissist, getting them to see reality, will get you to the shore with them. But they're this riptide. They keep going out into Crazytown. They want to return to Crazytown, and you're trying to bring them to the shore, and you're not going to be able to do that. So what you do is you go to the side and you step away from their total crazy illogical thinking. You allow them to continue in their crazy illogical thinking, and then you do for yourself what you need to do for you, right? To make sense. Like if they believe in getting into debt and they want to spin you guys into oblivion, but you're like, no, that's horrible. That will destroy us. I don't want to buy another car. We already have 2 cars, whatever. You get into the section that's not the riptide anymore. You open up your own savings account. You start to separate your finances from their finances, right? Okay. You start filing separately tax returns, anything that you can. You start to do things that are logical for you. It's not going to be logical for the narcissist, because they want to keep you in this illogical, irrational, crazy lifestyle that makes horrible sense. And what you do is you get out of that and you start to live your life the right way. You start to make good decisions for yourself and for your life. And that's how you get to the shore, even though they want to pull you out into the ocean where you're going to end up drowning with them. That's my analogy. So I hope that kind of helps you to see that when you're in Crazytown with a narcissist, it's like swimming against a riptide. And there's no, you should not do that, right? There's no winning. You cannot win. And you'll only end up destroying yourself or allowing the narcissist to destroy you. Say, Watergrove says, for far out, I just woke up because I had a dream of the ex, but I don't even feel anything for him. He must be telling me to wake up and get on YouTube. Interesting. Oh, good. Watergrove says, yes, escape. I agree. Much stronger and a better version of ourselves. Yeah, we're not destroyed, you guys, by the way. The narcissist, what they did, they destroyed the veneer. They destroyed the structures we built on top of our bad foundation to begin with. Maybe not totally bad, but, faulty in areas. Foundation had faults in it and cracks in it that we didn't address, didn't take care of. And we built this life on top of that foundation. Yes, the Narcissists came by and like bulldozed through all that we built, all the life that we built on top of that foundation. But now that foundation is visible to us. Now we can get to it. Now we can clear out and either rebuild that foundation or dig around it and clear out the messy parts and the rotted parts and the broken parts and fill it with rebar, right? Fill it with concrete, fill it with good and positive things for our lives, making good decisions, like I was saying earlier, starting to make good financial decisions for yourself. Start making good fitness decisions for yourself, health decisions for yourself. I was reading this other comment recently where this woman was saying, it was so, so sad. I think for her, it was 2 years out. I can't remember. No, maybe she was the one that was 8 months out. Yeah, 8 months out. She was divorced, and oh no, I'm sorry. Even after 8 months of being divorced, she moved into a house with a room, and she was renting this room. She's unable to see her children because I'm not quite sure what happened with the daughter, because she didn't mention the daughter at all, other than she hasn't seen the daughter. The son has a disability, so the father had the means to take care of the son, so he's with the father and she hasn't seen him for 3 years now. But she's living in this way that's just bad choice after bad choice. She's living in a room that she rents from an elderly woman, but then she goes to work, and she says that's the only thing that grounds her to reality is her work. But she doesn't take care of herself. She barely bathes, barely brushes her teeth or floss. She says her clothes are always wrinkled because she just takes it out of the dryer and dumps it on her bed and picks at it as she needs them, for work. So she's going to work all crumpled up, and I'm not quite sure where she works, but she has a night shift and she wears a uniform. So she says her uniform's always wrinkled and crumpled because she doesn't even lay it out after it comes out of the dryer. She just leaves it in a pile on her bed and pulls out stuff she needs each day as she needs it. And she knows it too. She says her room is a disaster. She eats whatever. She doesn't care what she's eating. She doesn't do any exercise. She's on YouTube or watching TV all night long, not getting sleep. So she's making bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. And this is 3 years out from the divorce. And this is where she is. And I know a lot of us would be in that position ourselves. And how easy it would be to get ourselves into that position. But we have to ask ourselves, is this all I want from life? Is this the best I'm willing to give to myself? Like, we were willing to do everything for the narcissist, right? We were willing to make all kinds of sacrifices for the narcissist. So why aren't we making those sacrifices for ourselves? Why aren't we taking better care of ourselves? We're willing to take better care of the narcissist than we are willing to take care of ourselves. So that's my challenge to you guys, is rebuild that foundation, do the work that you need to do, get into therapy, get into the support groups, figure out what was it that the narcissist spoke to inside of me. When did I fold down to the point where I was accepting abuse day after day after day and not willing to stand up to it? And why did I not know how to stand up to abuse? Like, what could I learn? What tactics and what kind of things can I learn to implement so that I can start standing up for myself and build my self-esteem? These are all really great questions for ourselves, and really great goals actually to start setting for ourselves. And you know what? It's not going to take a giant step to change our life. It takes one tiny step at a time. So that woman who for 3 years now has been barely living, barely surviving, so depressed and making one bad decision after another, living in that room that she rents, barely taking care of herself. The first thing she can do? Shower every day. Shower. That's it. You know what a huge step that is, right, you guys? It's not. It's a very small step, but do it. Shower every day and shower twice a day if you want to, because let me tell you, showers are just refreshing. If but definitely shower once every day, whether it's in the evening or in the morning, whichever one makes you feel the best. Um, and I've known people who shower both, you know, once at night and once in the morning, just because at night it soothes them, and it starts the whole process of calming down and getting meditating a little bit, right? And just calming down your life. And then in the mornings it kind of wakes them up. It's invigorating and it's refreshing. So whichever one that showering does for you, that's just do that. Start with just that. That's what I would tell her. Then flossing and brushing. Do that for yourself, because you know, people are going to be drawn to you when you're not stinky, you know, when you don't have horrible breath. I've been around people who are attractive and just, you know, people who you would think would have people all over them all the time, but their breath is horrendous. Oh my gosh. And because of that, people stay away from them. And they're probably wondering, well, what's wrong with me? I'm attractive. I look good. You know, I'm a good person. I'm very outgoing. And yet people don't seem to like to hang around with me. It's like, yeah, because your breath is horrendous. So yeah, brush and floss, brush your tongue. Oh my gosh, that's something I learned from the hygienist, which is awesome. Brush your tongue all the way in the back. I know it may give you a gag reflex, but because your tongue contains a lot of the bad, smelly bacteria. So yeah, clean that tongue. And you know, so these are just very, very small things that this woman could do for herself, and it's one little step at a time. And that's what will start to build her self-esteem, start to rebuild her life, will start to rebuild her. And then she can start tackling the deeper issues, right? Once she's able to feel better about herself on a moment to moment basis, once she starts feeling clean, feeling feeling pretty again, you know, feeling good about how she looks and smells and appears, she, you know, she won't be as revolting to herself or to others. She'll start to get actual positive attention from others once she starts making these little steps. Then she can start figuring out what is it that she needs internally, what is it that she needs in her heart and her soul, you know, the friendships, the connections. And like Water Grove, I think, was saying earlier, that she had joined a women's group, or Megan, I'm sorry, might have said that. Um, so it's the best thing that you can do. You know, just take little steps for yourself. Start investing in yourself. Well, you guys, let me see what you are saying here, and I'm gonna let you guys start. Oh, hold on. Well, we have a few more minutes still. I tend to take this to an hour and a half, but we'll see how this goes today. Obi-Wan says, I say stay single is cheaper and a lot less stress. And I agree with you. You know what? Stay single for a while. Get the work done on yourself. A lot of times people jump into a new relationship right away, and they just bring more of that trauma with them into the new relationship. It's just not worth it. It's you got to work on yourself first. You got to do the work on you first. Yeah, Wanda, good to see you, says we must take responsibility for staying in the codependent relationship and set boundaries to ward them off. Totally agree with you. Yeah, Megan says, thank God for the wake up call. I feel such shame at times for letting my original wounding, laying me open to be so vulnerable and hooked in. You know, that's exactly what we're dealing with. A lot of the times is we beat ourselves up, we blame ourselves, we're so ashamed of ourselves for staying in a bad relationship for a long time. And we're going to go through that. That's kind of part of the healing process. Yeah, we're starting to take on the response, our part of it, right? Our responsibility. We should have gotten that. We should have known better. But here's the thing, don't continue to beat yourself up. Recognize, like, wow, yeah, I'm ashamed that I stayed. I'm embarrassed that I did this and that. I'm disappointed in myself. And all of that can be true. But now you go, okay, so how do I not stay there? How do I not allow more of this type of trauma to come into my life, right? Now you say, wow, I don't want to repeat that. And because I don't want to repeat that, I'm going to allow myself to heal in these areas. And that's when you work on yourself. And it's better to work on yourself than to jump right into another relationship, just like Obi was saying. Stay single. It's so much better. It's much easier to work on yourself when you're single. uh, Yeah, Wanda says, knowing I was with a false person who was a pathological liar was a big wake up call to run. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love this. Okay, Watergrove says, I keep to myself and do what makes me feel good. The new supply or supplies, I must say, did me a favor. I can now bring in new energy. Yes, yes, yes. Yep. And Obi-Wan was saying, I was just talking about gold digger chicks. I told the guy, just pretend you have money and enjoy the love bombing because she's about to leave you. Oh my gosh, those are such fake and false uh relationships. They're horrible. And they're gold digging men too. People who are gold diggers, period, are so annoying. I don't know what to say about that. So annoying. But one of the narcissists I know is a gold digger. Holy cow, that's, I think, her top number one thing for a guy. Yeah, he's got to make a lot of money because she's just very materialistic, very shallow in that way. Oh wow, Watergrove says, yes, our child is my ex's primary supply. The new supply thinks it's her. Yeah, the new supply thinks she's the primary supply and attacks Watergrove. Yep. Wow. Wanda says 6 months no contact. Yay! Good job, Wanda. And therapy is helping me to heal from the trauma bond. Not easy. Yes, that trauma bond. It's coming to reality, you guys. We have to be so brutally honest with ourselves. And that's why I wanted to answer that question today. What makes a grade A supply to the narcissist? Because once we are brutally honest about what the narcissist is really looking for, we can then be honest with ourselves about, wow, I don't want to be grade A supply to a narcissist. That's not a real person. That's a totally fake kind of person. And not just fake as in they're just faking it to get along with the narcissist, but what a fake life that would be. That's not really living. It's a horrible way to live. So, would you really choose for yourself the life of a grade A supply to a narcissist? No, no. Julie, good to see you, says it's going to be a very long time before I even think about dating again. I have so much healing to do and I have to work on myself first. Yes, yes. Good for you. Obi says, Julie, relationships hold you down. You know what? A lot of times they do because you're both bringing baggage into the relationship. And if you have so much baggage of your own, how in the world are you going to help somebody else who's dealing with their wounding, right? Um, it's so much better to work on yourself. Oh my gosh. And have friends though. You can have acquaintances. You can have go out to social settings and interact with other people and have a great time. Go to comedy clubs, go see fun movies together, go have, a great experience, go skiing, go on a weekend trip, with your friends. There are ways you can still interact and still work with on your own stuff. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Wanda says the narc projected his crazy onto me by trying to convince neutral people that I needed to be taken to a psychiatric institute. Yes. Oh my gosh. Narcissists are, yeah, because their world is so crazy that your logical world to them seems crazy. I don't know. That's where I just end up laughing because it's incredible. Just incredible the way narcissists think. Yep. Watercrow says, yes, it's when there's a calm break in the waves, but it's actually a rip. It is a current that drags you out into the ocean. And Julie says, they certainly can if you are not in a good, healthy place in your life. I'm a long way from that place. My ex husband did a lot of damage and I have to work through it. Yeah. You're going to make it, Julie. I'm so glad that you're here. So, so, so glad that you're here. Megan says, Wanda Jane, saying we're crazy is a cheap and easy abuse or a tactic, but common to throw doubt in others' minds and smear you. You know what? Exactly. I do agree with you, Megan and Wanda, because the narcissist is projecting their crazy onto you. They absolutely feel like they're unhinged, and then they'll project that onto you because they can't actually admit it about themselves. So they have to think you're the one who's unhinged. Yeah, there we go. Wanda says standing up to a narc is difficult but possible and can be done. They live in Groundhog Day. Yep. M. Fox, good to see you. Wow. Crystal Jean, good to see you. Yeah. Oh, Vonda, good to see you. Says, I'm filing the divorce with the court online today. Crossing my fingers. I can do this correctly. Yes, we're crossing our fingers too, Vonda. Good luck to you. Thank you, Crystal. Says, I love escapes analogies. You're welcome, Water Grove. Um, yeah. Wow. Crystal says, I'm packing up my house right now. I will be finally free. Selling this house is my last big step towards freedom. Woohoo! Yay! Congratulations, Crystal. I'm very happy for you. So, so happy. This is great. Great news. Moving forward, moving on with your life. Each step that we take in our lives is momentous. It really is. It's, moving forward after devastation, after the trauma that we've been through, is life giving. There's so much good out there. And I've said that from the beginning. There's always so much more to live for. The narcissist had made our world so dark and black and bleak that we thought there was nothing there anymore for us. But once you step aside from the narcissist crazy town, a whole different world opens up for you. There's so many good people. By the way, you guys, when I went on this vacation, part of me was thinking, oh, I'm going to run into some crazy narcissist, I'm sure. But I really didn't. I didn't run into crazy, nutsoid narcissists. Came across some people who were boisterous and you know what? And I'm sure there were some narcissists out there, but they're not always destructive all the time, right? They're destructive towards the people they're closest to mostly. So knowing some of these people or narcissists that on the fringe of your life and who are just acquaintances and brief interactions is perfectly fine. And you can spot it though right away, like, wow, okay, probably don't want to get too close to that person. but I can have fun with them for the moment. And it was good. The vacation was really good in that way. Yep. And here's another thing, you guys, I've learned about myself. I don't feel obligated anymore. I used to be, and I don't want to say a people pleaser, but I probably was. You know, the insecurity in me made me feel like, or maybe the empathy in me, I don't know which it was, but would make me feel like I'm obligated to make sure the other person is happy or taken care of, or that I reach out to them. And now I feel like, no, if I don't feel that connection with them, it's okay for me not to reach out to them. It's okay for me not to have a relationship with everybody that I meet. I can have a quick interaction that's uplifting and encouraging and then move on with my life. That's fine. Yeah. Or I can even choose not to have any interaction with people that I just kind of sense. You know, like I told you guys, your body tells you. Your body will let you know when you're in danger or when you're uncomfortable. Listen to that. So when there are times I feel uncomfortable with somebody, it's okay. I can be pleasant with them for, the time that I need to be and then move on. And nothing. I don't feel obligated anymore to continue the relationship or continue contact with them longer than I need to. So, in that way, I feel like I've really grown in my foundation, in rebuilding my life. And that's probably why I have really good relationships in my life right now. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Julie says, my ex husband had a new supply before our divorce was even final. And when I found out about it, he blamed it on me. Yes, of course, because they don't take responsibility. Crystal says, little did they know they were actually helping us get stronger. Mwahaha. Good job. uh, yeah, Crystal says, so excited. I'm actually really excited about my future. It does take time and self care and patience for anyone just starting to heal. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Wanda says they do not take marriage seriously and use it to entrap and try to destroy us. My gift to myself is to thrive and enjoy my life with great friends and family. Excellent. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Water Grove says, yes, out of love. But when the new supply came into my support group and told me in her gaslighty way, triangulation way, that she was with him, I didn't even know she was talking about me. LOL. Wow. Yep. You got to be careful even within self-help groups. You might make one or two really close connections, but don't expect to make, super close connections with absolutely everybody, because not everybody is in that position or at that point in their life or healing, and so that where they can truly give and be supportive. But some people will continue to be toxic as they're healing, so you got to be careful of that. And then you also have to be careful of other narcissists that are in the group. So, as you learn more about narcissists, you're going to be able to identify them. You really are. You're going to be able to tell, like, something's quite kind of off about this person. So I'm going to be a little bit more guarded. And that's okay. That is fine to be a little bit guarded until that person earns your trust. And that person may never earn your trust. You may discover that, wow, it was a good thing I was guarded with them, because it turned out they were not as stable as I thought, or the person that you thought they were. Wow. So you guys, we are at the end here of our hour and a half. I'm going to give you a minute or two to wrap up your conversations. Oh, that's good. A walk in nature. Wanda's getting together with her group for a walk in nature. So good for you guys. Well, I hope that this has helped you today, our conversation, what grade A supply looks like to the narcissist. Do you really want to be grade A supply? The answer should be no. No, you do not want to be grade A supply to a narcissist, because grade A supply to a narcissist is being not human, right? Is not being a full person. It's just simply being a mirror to reflect the narcissist, and to serve the narcissist. And that is not your purpose in life. I want you to know that your purpose in life is so much bigger than the narcissist. So get out there, find out what it is, do your thing, learn about your own strengths, and then bless the world with it. You guys, I'm so glad you got here. Reza, I don't know if you came in earlier, but hello, good to see you. Just going through here at the end. Oh, sorry guys, I don't know where I am anymore in the comments. Oh, wow. Yeah, Reza says the new supply is obsessed with me. She started dressing like me and copied my hairstyle and all my interests in life. And part of that could be because the narcissist is idealizing you to the new supply. So that's another thing that the grade A supply is supposed to do, is become something they're not. You know, mimic the things that the narcissist is telling them is now wonderful about their ex, right? About you. And so the new supply or the grade A supply will then become the person that the narcissist is idealizing. And that's baloney, because however the narcissist is talking about you is going to be fake anyway. They'll point out some of the real things like the way you dress and your hairstyle and stuff like that. But then they're going to idealize you and say you never challenged them, you never gave them any lip, you never made them feel whatever, you did everything they wanted in the bedroom. They'll tell the new supply all of this to get the new supply to not be themselves and be some other version that, like I said before, reading from a script. They're playing a character in the narcissist's romance story. And you don't want to be that. That's not a life. That's just being a character in somebody else's life and not living your own life. So you guys, live your own life. Be great out there. Much love to you, and I will see you again next week. Blessings and blessings and blessings to you.